Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Tech with Yashwant. I know most of you were excited to learn about AgentCore Runtime, but I quickly wanted to introduce some of the key concepts which will make us understand and go deep with runtime and other capabilities which AgentCore has. So without wasting much time, let me introduce to one of the important terms when it comes to Strands and when it comes to AgentCore itself, that is agent loop. So you already know that a language model can answer questions, but an agent can do things. The agent loop is what makes the difference possible. So that is what we are going to cover in this particular video. So when a model receives a request, it cannot fully address it with the training data alone. So it needs to reach out to the world. It needs to read files, query databases, call APIs if required, and also execute code. So the agent loop is the orchestration layer that enables this. So it manages the cycle of reasoning and action that allows a model to tackle problems requiring multiple steps, external informations, or real world side effects. So this is the foundational concept in Strands. Everything else which we are going to discover in coming videos, which is built on top of this. So that's why I wanted to take a moment and introduce right here in the beginning so that you have the knowledge. Now let us understand how the loop exactly works. Just concentrate on this block here in the purple one, right? So the agent loop operates on a simple principle, which is invoke the model, check if it wants to use a tool, execute the tool if so, then invoke the model again with the result. So you repeat this until the model produces the final response. So that's the whole agenda. So I hope you got that point. So this is very, very important. The diagram here shows the recursive structure at the heart of the loop. So the model reasons, selects a tool, the tool executes, and the result is fed back into the model for another round of reasoning. So this cycle continues until the model decides it has enough information to respond to the user. So what makes this powerful is the accumulation of the context, right? So that is very, very crucial. So each iteration through the loop adds conversation history. We will talk about this in a while, so hold on till the end. The model sees not just the original request. It does not see the prompt that you're going to send. It also has got a lot of information. It also has every tool it has called, every result that it has received from the tool call. All of these things will be accumulated, and this accumulated context enables sophisticated multi-step reasoning. So let's understand this with a concrete example. So if you concentrate on the yellow box here, consider a request to analyze a code base for security vulnerabilities, right? So this is what we are doing. So it's not something a model can do from the memory itself. It requires an agent to call and read the file, search the code, synthesize findings. The agent loop handles this through successive iterations. There are multiple iterations that it needs to go through. So the first time model receives the request to analyze the code base, so it first needs to understand the structure. It requests the file listing tool with the repository as the input, right? So that's the first thing that it will going to do. Next, the model now sees the directory structure. It has got the structure of the code in the context, and it identifies the main application entry point and requests the file reader to examine it. That's the second step. And then again, the model sees the application code, it notices database queries, and it decides to examine the database module for potential SQL ingestion. So it requests the file reader again, and the file reader will go through that. So model sees the database module and identifies a vulnerability. So user input is concatenated directly into the SQL queries, right? So to assess the scope, it requests the code search tool to find all call sites of the vulnerable function. Wherever you are calling that vulnerable function, it is going to get all of the list and see if there is any possible ingestion there. So the model sees 12 call sites in the search result. I'm just taking that number as an example. It now has everything it needs, right? So rather than requesting for another tool, it produces a terminal response with the report detailing the vulnerability, affected locations, and the remediation steps. So where and all you have called that function, and this is what you need to do in order to remediate that. So that's how exactly it works. So each iteration followed the same pattern. So the model received the context, decided whether to act or respond. If it is going to act, it is going to make a tool call. If it is going to respond, it is going to send the result to your terminal, and either continued the loop or it exited, right? So the key insight here is that model made this decision autonomously based on its evolving understanding of the task. That is very, very crucial. Now, if you remember in the previous video, we talked about messages, agent.messages. I think I've also added that as a quiz point for you. So if if you remember, let me know in the comment what exactly agent.messages have. If you have answered agents.messages holds the full conversation history, you're right? So let me go back to the same notebook just to let other users also know. So if you see, you can see the raw conversation history, agent.messages. If you iterate it through the for loop, you are going to see what exactly user has sent and what the assistant has responded. So with that, let me introduce you to another concept, which is messages and the conversation history. So messages flow through the agent loop with two roles. That is what you are seeing here. One is user, basically that is me, and assistant, which is the model, right? So each message contains content that can be different forms, right? So firstly, we have the user. Concentrate on the user. User messages contains the initial request and any follow-up instructions. So it can include text input from the user, tool requests or tool results from the previous tool executions, media such as files, images, audio or video if your model supports that, and assistant messages. If you observe this carefully, it has got models output and it contains text responses for the user, tool use request for the execution system, and reasoning traces when it is supported by the model itself. So the conversation history accumulates all the three message types across the loop iteration. So this history is the model's working memory for the task. This is the working memory for the task. So we will go with the persistent memory with hooks and we will discover that as well. So hold on till the end of the playlist. So the conversation manager applies the strategies to keep this history within the model's context window while preserving the most relevant information. That is important. All of this history, it is going to keep only relevant information and feed that as a model context so that whenever it is making a tool call or it is responding, it has got that context in the behind the scene. So we will talk about conversation management later. So hold on till the end. Now let me go back to my drawing board. Here, if you observe, I've also talked about tool execution. I was constantly mentioning about tool execution. So when a model requests a tool, let's consider calculator as a tool, okay, or the web browser as a tool. So the execution system validates the request against the tool schema. So it will have a list or the rules. It will validate if I'm valid to do this task or not. And it also locates the tool in the registry. So imagine you have a bag and you have multiple items in that bag, right? So I need to know for which dish I need to use which vegetable. So based on that, I will pick that vegetable and start preparing the dish, right? So that's how it also locates the tool in the registry. It executes it with error handling and formats the result as a tool result message. So the execution system captures both successful results as well as failure results. I highlighting successful as well as failure because when a tool fails, the error information is fed back to the model as an error result rather than throwing an exception that terminates the loop, right? So this gives the model an opportunity to recover from any or try another alternatives, right? So if there are any. Now, with that being said, I hope you understood what's tool execution. So we will talk about loop lifecycle. So we talk like it will start, it will end, how exactly this is happening. That is what we are going to see. So the agent loop has well-defined entry and exit points. So understanding this will help us predict agent behavior and handle edge cases. So firstly, how exactly the loop will start. That is called as starting the loop. So when an agent receives a request, it initializes by registering the tools. So whenever a user is sending the request or a prompt, it initializes and registers the tool if there are any. Setting up the conversation, it also sets up the conversation manager and prepares the metric collection. It also needs to collect all the metrics. So what was the details asked, how much time it took to make the tool call, how much time it took to execute and get back the result. All this information will be stored and it will be stored in the CloudWatch logs. So you can see that as well. So we will go through all of this in detail, but I just wanted to quickly tell you how exactly this works. So the user's input becomes the first message in the conversation history and the loop begins its first iteration. So we also saw that in the notebook, right? So user's input will become the first message in the conversation history and the loop begins from there. Now, with that being said, we understood how exactly it starts. But what are all the scenarios where exactly it can stop, right? So each model invocation ends with a stop reason that determines what happens next. Firstly, end turn, which is very simple, basic, easy to understand. So the model has finished its response and has no further actions to take. This is where it is going to stop. So this is the normal normal successful termination. So the loop exits and returns the model's final message. That's as simple as that. Next, tool usage. So let's say the model wants to execute one or two tools before continuing. So the loop executes the requested tools, appends the result to the conversation history, and invokes the model again. So there also it can stop. Next is cancelled, which is going to be your hard stop. The agent was stopped externally via agent.cancel. So we will talk about this in the same video. Just hold on till the end of the video, right? So you can also cancel the tool call or the model execution just by running agent.cancel. That is the method that you're going to use. Then the fourth one is max token. Basically, the model's response was truncated because it has hit the token limit. I'm sure most of you will face this issue because I have at least faced this issue multiple times. So you are going to get 429 errors by AWS saying that you have exceeded the token for that particular day. So you should also know that knowledge why exactly it's happening, right? So AWS will provide you some set of token or depending on the model that you're using per day. So if you exceed that, you cannot basically use that model at all for that particular day. So you will have to wait or request for the service request to increase the limit. I would not recommend you to go ahead and increase the limit, but wait till the next day and execute it, right? So that's one of the things, and it's unrecoverable within the current loop. So the model cannot continue from the partial response and the loop terminates with an error. That's where it stops. And stop sequence, this is where the model encountered a configured stop sequence like the end turn. So this will also terminate the loop normally. And two important things. One is content filter and guardrail intervention. Remember this because we will cover this in detail in the videos coming forward. So if you are watching without subscribing, I would request you to please consider subscribing because that motivates me to create more such videos. So even I am learning and I'm teaching at the same time. So if you do that favor to me, that means a lot. Okay. Now continuing, content filtered is when the response was blocked by the safety mechanisms. So we will have guardrails intervening. We will have policies. We will talk about this. Let's say you have the PII information, email address or the phone number in your response or the request. So you will have to mask that information. Or if there is any response that is giving you the email address or the phone number, we don't want to do that, right? So in that way, you will have to block that response or the request itself. So we will do that using the guardrail and the content filtration. So the guardrail policy will stop the generation, and both of these content filtered and guardrail intervention terminates the loop and should be handled according to the application requirements. So that's totally on the application that you have. Next, there are some times when you will have to extend the loop too. So the agent emits lifecycle events at key points like before and after each invocation, before and after each model call, before and after each tool execution. So these events enable observation, metrics collection, and behavior modification without changing the core logic. So if you want to go back and check, you can check the logs, you can have the traces, you can check the CloudWatch metrics and understand what is happening behind the scene. And we will talk about this when we talk about hooks, and we will make sure to subscribe so that we will cover all of that in detail. Next, I talked about agent.cancel. So here if you see, agent.cancel is what we are going to discuss now too. So the agent.cancel method provides a thread safe way to stop the loop from outside. It can be client disconnect, timeout, network error, or UI stop button. So this is where you will call AgentCore cancel. So calling cancel sets the interval signal that agent checks at two checkpoints. One, it will check the model response streaming. So the partial output is discarded, whatever the output that you're getting. So you might have encountered this as well. Sometimes when you're using ChatGPT for a lot of time, for too much of time, you would obviously end up using tokens for the end of the day, and you will stop receiving the response and it will say something went wrong, right? And you have that refresh button, you click on that, again you will face the same issue. That's what we are talking about. So it is going to stop at that particular checkpoint and the partial output is discarded. So usage metrics may be inaccurate, so you won't get the inaccurate information about the usage. So be very careful with that. And before the tool execution, also it will check. That's the second checkpoint. So tools are skipped with each error and results are added to the main valid conversation state. So the agent returns a result with stop reason is equal to cancel, right? So that's important. So the cancel signal clearly automatically it is completed after the invocation so that agent is immediately reusable, and cancel is a thread safe and idempotent, which is very important. It is thread safe and idempotent. So calling it multiple times or from different threads is safe is what I'm trying to say. So with that being said, so these are some of the basic concepts that I wanted to introduce before going with the runtime. I hope you understood all the things that I explained in this particular video. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer and address all of those in the comment. Or else if you have any questions, you want a personal mentor, you can also reach out to me on my email address techwithyashwant@gmail.com. With that being said, if you're liking the content that I'm creating, please consider subscribing and share it with your friends. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.